Welcome back to another video. Today we have got Minecraft Bedrock Beta / Preview 1.20.20.21, and today they have made some changes to recipe books again. So this only works in survival mode, but if you now go to survival mode and you actually search inside of this book, they seem to have improved the searches. Typing TOR will now show the torch, soul torch, and the redstone torch. It will only show the wording for the first part of the word. As you can see, it's not showing the daylight detector, although daylight detector does have TOR at the end of detector. So it seems like they've made some improvements to the search option, but it's not 100% yet, and I'm guessing they'll probably improve that in the future. Typing things in here, it should now be improved, and you should be able to find things a lot easier just by typing in the first part of each word. And they also mentioned in the patch notes that the search option will now work better with the recipe unlocking system. I don't exactly know what that means, but they've said it will work better in some way. It also mentions in the patch notes that the reason this change has been made is so more experienced Minecraft players can find items a lot easier without having to scroll or anything like that. It also won't overwhelm new players. Another thing that is actually surprising to note, inside of the patch notes, it actually mentions that these changes are planned for both Bedrock and Java Edition. Now, I don't know what they mean by their plan for Java Edition. It does mention, though, that they are still in early development and they want feedback on the recipe changes. So if you have feedback and you would like to see a change to it, definitely go to the link in the description and report it a bug or provide feedback. There's a lot of changes to the recipe unlocking feature. The first thing is it's no longer hidden behind experimental toggles. So now upon creating a world within the beta or preview, it will now actually automatically be enabled. The only thing that's different is if you actually go to the world, they are aware of a bug that you currently can't change this setting when creating a new world, but you can do it once the world has actually been created. And as you can see, that is this option right here. You can turn on and off recipe unlocks, so if you don't want to have notifications when you unlock recipes, this will be off by default. If you want to have the notifications when you unlock recipes, you can turn this on inside of the game settings. But once again, they are aware of a bug that this option don't show when you are creating a new world. It only shows when editing current settings for a world. The recipe unlocking notification is now not visible on the pause menu. I think that means this screen right here. But yeah, as you can see, it's no longer visible on that screen. Notifications for the actual texts should now also work better with different languages. And they have also fixed something where the notifications would sometimes be too long and you wouldn't see them on your screen. That seems to have been fixed, but I'm not exactly sure if it was the case with all notifications or just maybe ones that require longer text or something. A little minor tweak to camels. If you weren't aware, camels have a unique walking sound when they walk on sand. The sound they play when they walk on sand will now be played when they walk on concrete powder. So any concrete powder types, red sand, and also suspicious sand. The next change is a bit of a massive one. The change here is we have adjusted the breaking time of 188 blocks to match Java Edition and our intended design. Some blocks couldn't be changed yet for technical reasons, and Obsidian was left unchanged because we're still deciding what breaking speed it should have. Bringing more blocks to parity makes it easier for our team to keep both versions up to date. So it seems like they have made 188 blocks either mine slower or faster, depending on how they mine in Java, which I think is a good thing, I guess. In some cases it might be bad, depending on if they actually increased or decreased mining speed. And they have said we also hope it will be easier for the community to make and share guides that will work for all players on platforms. But this is also good for things like Trail Ruins, where you have to have a certain mining speed to not break these suspicious blocks. I'm going to quickly just scroll through every single block that has been updated or changed, just so you guys can see them all, but they will be linked in the description if you want to go more in depth on what has changed with them. But you can see the destroy time and also the explosion resistance has been changed for a lot of blocks. So just quickly scrolling through, it seems like a lot of them have been buffed to mine quicker, but there are some that mine a little bit slower. As you can see, the bell, for example, it's gone up to from 1 to 5. But yeah, it seems like a lot of them is a good change, like from 7 to 1.5. So just scrolling through, you guys can pause the video to read them in a bit more detail. But it seems like a lot of blocks, mainly obviously like ores and also useful blocks. The light block has also been upped to 0.8 for some reason. I have no clue why that would be the case. Okay, that's infested blocks. Okay, that's pretty cool. The infested blocks have been made so they mine a little bit quicker. Or no, the explosion radius or explosion resistance is a little bit less. But yeah. I'm not going to go through every single one of them because there is a lot of them, and just keep scrolling through. You can see that it never ends. And it does say here, remaining parity breaks. I don't exactly know what this means. I think this means the blocks that are still different depending on the version. It seems like a lot of the walls are different. The bedrock destroy time is 2. On Java, it's 1.5. So yeah, just scrolling through, you can see there are quite a few that are still different. Bedrock Edition has finally added the game rule for player sleep percentage. If you don't know what this game rule does, is it specifies how many players need to sleep in a bed for the night to be skipped. This is obviously only useful on multiplayer servers where you have like 10 people and you don't want everyone to have to sleep for the night to reset. If it's anything below 0, it will only require 1 player at all times to sleep. But you can also do it to, say, 50, which means if there's 10 players, only 5 of them have to sleep for the night to be reset. And this can obviously be changed to any percentage up to, I think, 100. On the patch notes, it does also specify anything below 0 means it will always only require 1 player. Anything over 100 means the night will not be able to be skipped, even if everyone's sleeping in the bed. There was a bug causing bone meal to not be able to bone meal gravel, sand, or clay while underwater. As you can see, that has now been fixed somewhat. It does seem to be a bit buggy where sometimes it breaks some of the blocks. There was also a bug where if you was looking straight up in the air, the potion would be thrown backwards a little bit like that. That is now fixed, and if you throw it while looking straight up, it will literally just go straight up at your hitbox. A few changes, you can now actually bone meal pink petals using a dispenser. So if you have a dispenser with bone meal inside, you can now bone meal pink petals using that dispenser, which obviously makes farming them a lot easier. You can now also punch shulker boxes with your fist a lot quicker, and you'll actually get the shulker box back, which is really cool. So if you don't have a pickaxe for whatever reason, you can now punch them a lot quicker to obtain the shulker box back. Wardens have become a little bit more scarier because they will now detect items hitting the ground, and it's also the same with skulk shriekers. They will now send, or skulk sensors will now send signal to skulk shriekers when you throw items on the ground. And once again, there are some technical changes inside this update. The patch notes will be linked in the description, so if you do want to read these in more detail, then you can. I don't cover the technical changes because I'm not a technical Bedrock player, so I have no clue what most of them mean. But you can check them out if you want to know what they all are. And there are some other changes that I can't exactly show. Storage, they've addressed an out of storage error and textures corrupting on Xbox in large worlds. The lapis lazuli icon in the enchantment table now matches the one in the smithing table, and large enchantment labels in the enchantment table screen are no longer blocked by overlaid items in the inventory. There's also some stability and performance fixes right here, which could be useful for some players. And with that being said, that is where I'm going to end this video. We've covered most of the changes. The patch notes will be linked in the description if you want to check out every single change, but the biggest thing in this one was probably the changes to the recipe unlocks, and also the 188 blocks that have been changed in mining speed and also explosion resistance. Once again, the full list of them will be linked in the description. But anyway, if you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.